We had our first official weekend of Pride Month, and boy, was it ever eventful. First and foremost, we have a little piece of legislation before we set the stage and watch some videos. Ugh, gross. But anyways, Tennessee law banning drag shows for minors overturned by the appeals court. Why? It really doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if you have any footage from any of the festivals that have gone on in the past. And yeah, you can kind of see not exactly the most appropriate place for children, but I don't know, maybe the appeals court in another state has a better idea and a grasp of the situation, right? Tennessee state legislature put a host of bills into effect that would limit the exposure of minors to gender ideology. Among bans on medical child sex changes and protection for women's sports came a bill that would prevent drag shows or burlesque for gay male dancers from being presented to children. However, a federal appeals court has ruled that the ban against showing explicit drag content to children is unconstitutional. Interesting, because a good lawyer would argue that it's sexual in nature and would also fall under the pornographic category. That's what I would argue for, but okay. The bill banned drag shows on public property or in places where minors were able to watch them. The ruling is over the extent to how broad the bill was written. Okay, so it was just a poorly written bill. Interesting. Make your amendments and then just bring it back. On Friday, U.S. District Judge Thomas Parker said the law was both unconstitutionally vague and substantially overbroad. This is why we read the articles, because the headline fairly salacious. Oh my God, woke judges out there overturn bills. And it's like, no, it was just poorly written. Just, fix your shit, pal. He said that if free speech were to be impeded, it must be specific and clear. Fair enough. Fair enough. No sexualized content by just the mentally ill. How about that? That's pretty specific. Simply put, no majority of the Supreme Court has held that sexually explicit but not obscene speech receives less protection than political, artistic, or scientific speech, Parker explained. That's a fair enough ruling, to be completely honest, because if you just go back to the days of old Brandenburg and, oh boy, the stuff that they were talking about wasn't specifically sexual in nature, but it was definitely a little bit spicier than what was on display there. The ban on drag shows for kids was temporarily blocked in April. Parker, on the eve of the law taking effect, said that it was in violation of the First Amendment. The suit was brought by the Memphis-based gay theater Friends of George's. George Floyd, oh my lord. That temporary block has now become preventative to the law going into effect. The judge at the time said that the language of the bill, which prohibits adult-oriented performances that are harmful to minors. Holy shit. That is awfully vague. That's poor wording. Yeah, I totally understand why that was struck down and overturned. And classified male or female impersonators as adult cabaret performers was too broad. Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree with this. I agree with the bill. The idea of the bill, write it better. But I also agree with this guy's ruling. It seems pretty fair. The Department of Justice took the case to the against Tennessee in April, saying that the bans on sex change for minors were not legal. Okay, the ACLU has determined to go after nearly every state that instituted a prohibition against sex changes for minors. Yeah, that one's a lot less defensible. But I don't know, it looks like that one's probably gone before the courts and hasn't been ruled on yet. But as for the parades themselves, because yeah, they never, ever, ever just look specifically like that. Just a bunch of, drag queens marching down the street. It's like, oh my God, they're all just so stunning and brave to just, say drag up and fight back because their rights are being infringed on. Which rights specifically? Their rights, right? No? Oh, okay. I mean, why would Tennessee want to go ahead and ban children from watching something like this? Now, I understand that this is happening in Los Angeles. In the back of, I was anticipating that should probably be a Ford or something like that. But why would you want to keep children? I don't know. We can just, obviously, it's just going to autoplay in the background. I can't really specifically see any children, but this is Los Angeles after all. An event was open to all ages. Okay, there you go. Featured adult men dressed in BDSM gear acting out sexual scenes, which, yeah, we have another video as well, which it might actually be worse, to be completely honest. Two men parade a sexual display during a family-friendly parade in West Hollywood. See if we can spot any kids in the see some smaller children in the background, but as you can see, I have I don't know what's going on here. The event was dubbed colorful and entertaining for the whole family. What specifically whipping somebody's exposed ass in a parade? Like, okay, the village people get up in the background, and there's Sam Britton right there. Looks like he got a little bit of a tan, but the rest of that stuff, as degenerate as it is, I would obviously prefer that they were wearing more clothing, but I don't think that runs contrary to any laws. But that sexual display that's right there, like, I'm sure that there's probably about a whole host of boners that are just being popped right there in that little patio that's right there. But outside of that, why is that deemed family friendly? Why is that deemed appropriate for all ages? It's California after all, and we kind of know that it's a fallen state, but is it really all that different to what these kids are being subjected to when they go to school? Let's take a look at this. Oh my god, this makes me die inside. So, yeah, the religious right was mocked relentlessly for accurately predicting the future. Yeah, that's what we have here. And we're going to run this back probably another time as well. I just want you to really soak this in as it starts. Yeah, you got the flags on the wall. You got the kids just looking... I don't know. It's just immediately associating being happy, being vibrant, you're just expressing who you are, and look at all the great things that you can do if you just go ahead and embrace your same genitalia, which is kind of weird to be promoting to grade school children. But yeah, all the signage that's right outside. But just take note. Take note of the adults that are there, and note the lack of diversity that's there. Just all women. Old women, young women, fatter women, because, you know, if they take up these causes just so overtly. Oh, there's one. There's one guy, but he looks like, yeah, okay, he's just kind of fallen into line to be the cuttlefish of the scenario, because why would he want to miss out on that heffalump down there at the end of the hallway? But it's weird. It's weird to see all of the teachers just openly and without any sort of shame or disgust promote this abject, like, I don't even know what else to say to that. That's just so, it lacks any sort of educational merit. Like, what are you learning from that? Okay, what are you learning from that would be appropriate for a grade schooler, somebody who's in 4th, 5th, or 6th grade? Those kids don't look too much older than that. It's also the United States. Not too sure specifically which state, which school this was. Don't need any specifics or anything like that. But those kids, yeah, just having not just mental illness reaffirmed, but obviously because you got the trans little banners that are on there, which of course that's I think we can all, you know, reasonably among reasonable adults here, we can all agree that there's probably something to that, and especially if you know the history about the DSM 4 and 5, realizing that through political action and not through any sort of scientific research, you just go ahead and get a couple of pet ideologies picked out of the mental illness categories. Oh, it's just between friends. Don't worry about any of that stuff. But what sort of merit are you getting by teaching and educating actual children about sexual proclivities? Because that's all this is. Pride Month, short for what used to be referred to as Gay Pride Month, which, yes, gay people exist. Lesbians exist. I know, because you can just hear, you know, just errant punches being thrown off in the distance. Highest rate of domestic abuse between a couple is a lesbian couple. And bisexual people are just kind of coping, okay? It's a bisexual woman is just somebody who, I don't know, just likes to tangentially kiss girls and show out to a guy that she's trying to impress. And a bisexual guy, he's just gay and hasn't, you know, reconciled with that. But why is that something? Why is that something that needs to be in schools? Well, because, hey man, love is love. It doesn't matter. Just let people be who they are. And that's appropriate to be teaching in schools. It's interesting. It's the exact same logic that ends up showing out in public, just like this. The Pride event that's outside for all ages. Just a bunch of men having a good time teaching kids what it's like to be in a homosexual relationship, where everything that you do has a whole bunch of colors, has a whole bunch of degeneracy, and you get all of the adulation that the public can possibly bestow upon you. Yuck. So I'd imagine as we get closer to the middle of the month, these events are probably just going to continue to go on every single weekend. And I'm just going to let this run in the background because it is so haram. I almost can't believe it. And like I said, I don't know why. I don't know why that pickup right there isn't a Ford, because we know that they have the very gay Raptor. You kind of missed the marketing campaign right there, okay? Just a way to show out. But yeah, if they're going to continue to do this stuff, obviously they are going to, because hey, there's a couple of those gay guys that are in the background that really look like they could use the extra exercise to go out there for another parade or two. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more awful shit that's going to play out, especially around the 16th and the 17th, right in the middle, when there's a whole host of pride events that are supposed to be going on in different vocations as well. So we'll unfortunately be paying attention to this stuff because we have just gotten started. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.